Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that really touches so many lives, mobile game addiction. And this isn't just, about endless scrolling. It's more about understanding how we can actually reclaim our time, our attention, that mental real estate that gaming can sort of subtly erode. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack a really practical step-by-step guide designed to help you reduce or maybe even stop those mobile game habits.
Right. And I think what's really key here is that it's not about some like overnight fix.
Yeah.
It's not brute force. It's more to blend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Self-awareness, building some discipline, and also making strategic changes to your environment, your habits. So yeah, if you've ever felt that kind of pull, maybe felt overwhelmed by your gaming, this deep dive should offer a pretty powerful way forward, a path to getting back control.
Okay, so getting back control. Where do we start?
It feels like something so pervasive, mobile gaming. My first instinct might be to just, try and cut down immediately. But the framework we're looking at suggests starting somewhere else entirely, more foundational. It's about understanding the root cause first. Why is that so important? What does asking why actually do?
Oh, it's absolutely fundamental. It's the bedrock, really. Because a lot of us, we just play almost on autopilot, don't we? But if you actually pause, take a moment and ask, why am I picking up the phone right now? You might uncover something, well, something deeper. Are you bored? Is it stress relief? Maybe feeling a bit lonely and the game offers a kind of connection? Or perhaps it's that thrill of competition. And I think the real insight comes when you recognize the emotions before you play and then notice what lingers after. Getting clear on that why is what empowers you. It helps you find genuinely healthier, more fulfilling alternatives rather than just trying to squash the habit itself.
That makes a lot of sense. Sort of diagnosing before prescribing, right?
Yeah. So once you start getting a handle on those motivations, what's the next step this framework points to? Is it about facing the time commitment?
Precisely. Yeah, the next thing is confronting the actual data, tracking your usage. And this is often where people get, a significant shock. Our idea of how much time we spend is usually way off. We really underestimate how many hours just vanish into the screen. And the tools are right there, often built in. Digital well-being on Android, screen time on iPhones. Plus, there are other good apps like Forest or Stay Free. Just seeing those actual numbers, the true amount of time, it can be a really powerful motivator. That undeniable push for change. It shows the gap between what you think you do and reality.
A wake-up call, definitely. Okay, so you've maybe had that shock moment, or maybe you're just starting to track. How do you begin to actually pull back then? Does the framework suggest just stopping completely, cold turkey, or is it more gradual?
It leans heavily towards gradual reduction, which honestly is usually a much smarter way to go for long-term success. Think about game notifications, those little pings. They're super effective, right? Because they use this thing called intermittent reinforcement. You never know exactly when the next reward or alert is coming, so your brain stays hooked, anticipating, checking. So step one, turn off all those game notifications. Just silence them. Then maybe consider uninstalling the games that have the tightest grip, your most addictive ones. For other games, maybe just moving the apps works. Put them in a hidden folder or way over on the last screen of your phone, just adding that little bit of friction. And finally, you can actually set app usage limits. Use the built-in phone settings or third-party apps. That creates a real boundary, stops you before you spiral.
Right, adding friction, I like that. So it's not necessarily a total ban, which can feel, well, pretty daunting. This sounds more like creating structure. What about setting specific times to play, like gaming, but on your own terms?
Yeah, that's another great strategy. It's all about reclaiming control from the game itself. The idea is setting really strict time windows. So for example, you might decide, okay, I'll play, but only for 30 minutes and only between 7:00 and 7:30 p.m., something like that. The crucial part, though, is using a timer, an actual timer, and sticking to it, really honoring that limit. This helps redefine your relationship with the game. It shifts it from being this impulsive, reactive thing to something controlled, intentional. You're deciding, not just reacting.
That shift sounds incredibly important. Control, not reaction. But okay, when you start setting these limits, turning off notifications, you're creating a kind of space, aren't you? A void where gaming used to be. How does the framework suggest people fill that time, that newly liberated time?
Ah, yes, filling the void. That's absolutely critical. If you don't, the cravings can just surge back and pull you right back in. It's easy to relapse. See, games are designed so cleverly to create this powerful reward loop. You do something, you get an instant reward, that little hit of satisfaction. So the trick is to systematically replace that. Replace it with new activities. Activities that offer their own rewards, maybe more subtle, maybe delayed, but still rewarding. This helps rewire your brain, basically, diminishes those cravings over time. And the options are huge. Short walks outside, gym sessions, cycling, reading a book, listening to podcasts like this one.
Ah, good plug.
Or, learning a new skill, music, drawing, coding, something engaging, and importantly, connecting with real people, family, friends. That can be incredibly fulfilling.
Okay, so replacing the reward loop. That makes sense. You can't just take something away without putting something else there. Building on that, what if those first steps, tracking gradual reduction, finding alternatives, what if they aren't quite cutting it? How can you make it even harder to just impulsively jump into a game? Create more barriers.
Right. Sometimes you need to increase that friction even more, make impulse gaming harder. So a simple one. Log out of your game accounts after each session. Just having to re-enter a password adds a small hurdle, a moment to pause. Then, for a stronger intervention, there are app blockers. Things like App Block, Stay Focused, or Freedom. These can literally block access to specific apps during times you choose. That takes the willpower out of the equation when you might be feeling weak. And then there are more drastic steps for people really committed to a big change. Some folks try using a dumb phone. Just calls and texts maybe on weekends or certain days, or having a second device, a phone or tablet that's strictly work or essentials with 0 games installed. It's all about building obstacles that force that pause, that moment of reconsideration.
Wow, yeah, some of those are pretty significant commitments. It sounds like a lot of this is a very personal battle, right? Internal willpower strategy. But is there an element of bringing other people in? Does seeking support help?
Oh, hugely. This is often overlooked, but it can be incredibly effective. A real game changer for some. Just telling someone you trust, a friend, family member, about your goal.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I'm trying to cut down on mobile gaming, and then asking them to maybe just check in with you now and then. How's it going? That accountability, knowing someone else knows and might gently ask you about it, it often helps much more than we anticipate. It turns it from just your own private struggle into something shared, a shared commitment.
That accountability piece feels powerful. Okay, so we've talked practical steps, external support. What about the internal state? The framework mentions mindfulness. How does being more present help fight the urge to escape into a game? Because gaming often is an escape, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And that's where mindfulness comes in so effectively. It directly counters that urge to escape. Mobile games pull you out of the present moment into their virtual world. That's their appeal, often. Mindfulness, through practices like meditation, and there are great apps for this like Headspace or Insight Timer, helps anchor you back to reality, back to the now. And there's another really powerful technique linked to this, practicing delayed gratification. So when you feel that really intense urge to play, that craving hits, instead of just giving in immediately, commit to waiting. Just wait 10 minutes, set a timer. What you often find is, during that short wait, the craving significantly lessens. Sometimes it just fades away. It's about noticing the urge, observing it without judgment, and letting it pass, rather than instantly acting on it.
Riding the wave instead of getting swept away. I like that. Okay, these steps all offer a really clear path forward for managing things. But what about situations where it feels like more than just a bad habit? When it's really starting to cause serious problems? When should someone think about getting professional help?
That's a really crucial question. Because for some people, it absolutely does cross that line into something more serious. The key indicators to look out for, ask yourself, is the gaming deeply affecting major parts of your life? Is your sleep totally disrupted? Are your relationships suffering because of it? Is it impacting your work, your studies? Are you neglecting responsibilities? If the answer is yes to those kinds of questions, that's a red flag. And it's really important for people to know the World Health Organization, the WHO, they now officially recognize game addiction. It's classified as a real mental health condition. So if you're struggling at that level, reaching out to a psychologist, a counselor, a therapist, that is absolutely the right step, a brave step. There should be zero shame in seeking support for what's now understood as a legitimate health issue.
That's such an important point to make clear, removing the stigma and highlighting that help is available. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of practical steps. What's the final takeaway, this sort of encouraging tip that ties this all together?
Yeah, the final message is actually really simple and I think quite liberating. It's basically this. You don't have to quit 100% immediately. That's not necessarily the goal. The real aim isn't some kind of instant, perfect abstinence from day one. It's simply taking back control.
Yeah.
Taking it back one step at a time, thoughtfully, intentionally. It's about progress, not perfection.
Progress, not perfection. I like that. Great way to frame it. So, for everyone listening, what does this all mean for you? Based on everything we've explored in this deep dive today, what's maybe one small thing, one actionable step you could commit to, something you can do today to start regaining control of your mobile gaming habits? Just think about it, pick one small step, and maybe give it a try.